another front, MrBeast is also receiving hate because he talked about his standards for who he will date. He's now dating a girl named Thea Boysen, and he talked about how they met and how he vetted her to decide to date her. And he said she needs to share these niche interests that he has. She needs to be really into her hobbies. It's probably because he's so busy with his own stuff. He doesn't want someone to be clamoring for his attention all the time.
Yeah.
So let's watch the video before we pass any judgment.
Yep. Here we go.
This girl is beautiful. And then, but I have to go through the test because like, I don't really get along with women if like they don't love learning, they're not obsessive, they don't have a hobby, they don't like their job. Like there's just certain things where if you have these traits, we get along really well.
Yeah.
And if you don't, like it's impossible for us to hang out.
Yeah.
So I had to put her through the ringer and start asking questions.
Yeah.
What do you do? And then she was like, I'm an author. And I was like, fuck yeah, good. She has a hobby. And then we started talking and I just tried to get a feel if she likes learning. Like, you know, whatever. What do you like to do? You know, sounds cringe, but you know, like what kind of content you consume, and it was more like documentary, educational, and like the type of stuff she does. And she has multiple degrees. You could tell she likes learning. Yeah. She's about to get a neuroscience degree just for fun, not even to get a job.
That's amazing.
Because like she invested in Bitcoin and did well, so she doesn't even like need it.
It's crazy how he can talk without moving his mouth.
All the boxes. And I had like these 10 things where like, if I meet a girl that's like beautiful and they have these 10 traits, like we're gonna be literally best friends.
Right.
Checked every single one of them.
Nice feet. Like, nice feet.
No, that was 11.
Okay.
I can give on that one.
So yeah.
So
this girl is beautiful.
Domestic abuse campaigner named David Challen reposted this clip. It got millions of views. And he was very offended by it. He said, YouTube's biggest creator lists a tablet of commandments women must adhere to gain his interest. If you encounter a man like this, please just run. Powerful rich men creating behavioral interest tests for potential partners and labeling your job as a published author a hobby reeks of a lack of interest in independent thought beyond their own and a lack of respect of your career. James Stephen Donaldson, aka MrBeast, has a subscriber base of 206 million users on YouTube. His primary audience is under 25s, 67% of which are males. So yes, his views on relationships and women are very important when speaking in open forums and podcasts watched by young men.
He has standards,
said,
and that's a problem, is what they're saying.
After this guy reasonably was dunked on for having such a ridiculous take, he said, muting this thread, but seems Jimmy's army, mostly men, shocker, are very angry about this. Many disputing the fact that Jimmy said it's difficult to find beautiful women who are nerds when he said it in that interview. So I guess he clipped him saying it's hard to find chicks who are also nerdy like him that are attractive. I can't believe that you can watch that clip and frame it as misogynistic.
You're not allowed to have standards if you're a guy. If you're a girl, it's yes, Queen Slay.
Because is this not what feminists want? What he said in this clip is he cares about the content of her character. He cares about her having hobbies and interests and having a business of her own, making her own money, being independent. She invested in Bitcoin, so she's got her own money. She doesn't need to gold dig off of him. Yeah. And presumably that means they're in a relationship that is purely based on chemistry and love.
Yes. Which
is the ideal in the feminist framing, right? Yeah. So why is he still getting hate for that?
Because he's talking about it as if these types of standards, I don't know what the proper answer should be for him here. I guess the proper answer should be that I would take any woman anytime because I'm not allowed to have, I have no idea.
I mean, he obviously said it matters that she is physically attractive, but would anyone dispute that?
They would say, look, he's anti-body positivity when it comes to dating.
I mean, if anything, this is a feminist answer.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he wants her to be independent, intelligent, self-made, interesting, intelligent, worldly. He cares about all of those things more than he mentioned any physical attributes. So how is this dehumanizing
to be fair, this is a male feminist.
oppressive?
This is a guy who's saying this, right? This isn't the women that are dunking on him. This is a guy who's dunking on him.
I even saw a feminist praising him, saying this man has millions of dollars and fame. Notice what his list of demands are for a partner.
Also, I'm sorry. The word demands is loaded. It's a loaded term.
But she's praising him. She said, multiple degrees, including one in neuroscience, published author, lifelong love of learning, involved in active hobbies, has her own money from successful investments. Notice how he explicitly does not want a beautiful Walmart cashier or sexy waitress, because men with money and fame can always find a beautiful woman. They'll simply pick a beautiful woman who is also intelligent and accomplished in her own right, not a hot bum off the street.
Yeah, it's not like I guess the paranoid feminist take would be that he wants the Walmart cashier who's beautiful so that he can control her, right?
But clearly that's not
what he's saying.
The case.
No, that's what I'm saying. So it's not what he's saying. This is why identity politics is so fruitful for so many people, is that you can, with enough words and enough mental gymnastics, you can reframe literally anything as bad. Anything can be framed as bad. If
you can be outraged by anything.
Yeah, anything it's possible to do that, right? And it's like he said I want to, what were some of the things he listed again? He said, I want, this
like she has to be interested in learning.
This is also the internet. He's like, she's an accomplished author. Like, well, what does he think about people who are librarians? Why doesn't he want to be with a librarian and not an author? It's whataboutism.
Right.
It's
honestly, I've seen Jeff Bezos get more criticism for who he's decided to marry than MrBeast, because Jeff Bezos is like in his juice head era dating this like muscle mommy bimbo.
But she's like a
for
helicopter.
lack of a better word.
She's like a helicopter pilot and has her own business. She's not a dummy either.
Yeah, I don't know anything about the woman.
Yeah,
but like just based on looks alone, when you're someone of MrBeast's caliber,
that's the other thing. What they don't like
you're
is
going to choose other people who are in your socioeconomic pool.
The men, what he's basically saying is he's ignoring the fact that men of the world today, who are not the gatekeepers to any type of sexual activity or relationship, a lot of men, if they're unaccomplished, if they haven't gotten where they want to get in life, if they're not taking care of themselves, they just take what they can get. Right? They take whatever they can get despite the flaws of that person. Man, woman, different. Gay, straight, whatever. Right? If you don't, whereas women have endless options these days. And what he's saying is he's annoyed that he won't just take whatever he can get like a normal guy. He's not a normal guy. He's an extremely accomplished, extremely successful person who doesn't have to deal with what the average guy has to deal with in the dating market. Sad fact of life.
Also, if you're a woman, is it not insulting to think that you're dating a guy just because he settled for what he could get? Like, that would feel demeaning to know that.
Yeah.
It would also feel demeaning if he only valued a woman for her looks.
Yeah. See, here's my problem.
Are they just mad that she's pretty?
I don't even have a problem with that. Like, you as an individual, you have every right to have whatever standards, whatever criteria you want for dating. Nobody has a right to tell you otherwise. If all you want is a hot bimbo, that's your right to do that. And no one can tell you otherwise. That's preference. Is it smart? Is it the greatest idea in the world? Is it going to lead to long-lasting, fruitful relationships? Maybe, maybe not. Hell if I know.
He's not asking for advice.
But I know that I don't have. I know that I don't have a right to tell you. Do you remember when Riley, who said that you had to be into trans? Like, if you wouldn't have sex with a trans person, you were transphobic.
Oh, Riley Dennis.
Remember that?
It's been a while since I thought of that.
Remember that? Like, the people really do believe that they have a right to control who you're attracted to.
Yeah, which is
ridiculous.
Don't,
and that's insane. And it is also...
If you say things like that, you're overcompensating for some insecurity that you have, clearly.
It's a complete denial of reality to imagine that this guy has to exist in the same dating pool as me, perhaps.
But also, like,
it's not the world, guys.
This
it's not the world we live in.
Kind of fly in the face of red pill ideology, which does say that men only care about looks and youth, and they don't care about a woman's accomplishments or her intellect or things like that. When clearly the wealthiest and most powerful men, they do care about those things.
Yeah.
So I guess as a woman, if it's your prerogative to bag one of those men in the 1% of the 1%, then you should focus on being an interesting person yourself.
Yeah.
Not just, you know, getting plastic surgery and being as hot as possible.
In this situation, they're not talking necessarily about, like, then if the conversation comes to marriage and kids, that conversation changes dramatically.
I think that what they're grappling with is, yes, women are still the gatekeepers of sex, but they resent the fact that men are still the gatekeepers of commitment.
Yes.
And we can't have an honest conversation about that anymore. We have to walk on eggshells.
I just think it's funny imagining this guy has to play by everybody else's rules. Sad fact of life, folks. Money, status, power all change the rules in which you live in compared to the rest of the world. That's just how things are. Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.